Chairman Brown, Ranking Member Toomey, distinguished members of the committee, thank you for inviting me to testify in support of the 36% cap. Prohibitions against usury or excessively high interest rates have been around since biblical times. It's hard to imagine a situation in which it's advisable to take out a loan for over 36%. While I normally don't like the federal government regulating business, the fact that so many loans today are online kind of leaves us with no choice but to have the federal government get involved. I'm sure you'll be contacted by lobbyists for the payday loan industry. They'll tell you they're providing a necessary service. We've talked about all the caps on individual states as well as the caps on the provided in the Military Lending Act. Despite these caps, I hear of no disasters happening in other states. There's a reference here in my testimony to a study what happened in South Dakota after South Dakota imposed caps, and you can see it was no great disaster. One can say that one needs access to credit, but I'd argue that we have too much credit in this country as it is, and a lot of times the answer is not to take out so much credit. Throughout my time in the Wisconsin legislature and now in Congress, I've been told borrowers rarely take out these. I've been told these borrowers take out loans for one-time emergencies. According to a study by the Pew Charitable Trust, they released a report titled "Payday Lending in America: Who Borrows and Where They Borrow and Why." They ask who are the borrowers demographically, how people borrow and how much they spend, and why they use payday loans. And I think if you look at that, you'll see they're largely not because of one-time emergencies. They get themselves in a position in which this is paying for ongoing expenses, and as the result, it shows that you should be looking for credit either elsewhere or adjust the amount you spend. It's not because of the car breakdown or something like that. In states with strong legal protections, the result is a large decrease in payday loan usage. Borrowers are not driven to seek payday loans online or from other sources. 2.9% of adults reported payday loan usage in states with the most stringent regulations compared to 6.3% in moderately regulated states and 6.6% in states with the least regulation. I will leave you with this interesting anecdote. I'm always reminded my days of I always kind of remind myself of my days as a state legislator when this topic came up. One of my staffers doing research on the topic showed up at a payday loan store. She was told by an employee, "Don't tell your husband. It's really not a very good idea." So that I always get kind of a kick out of. Some people would say that being a conservative Republican, why can you be for this? And nobody in this room would argue that we shouldn't be regulating some financial packages, right? There's certain insurance contracts that we regulate. We don't let anybody sell any insurance contract under the world because we realize there's some that are just unconscionable. Okay? Offers to purchase. We regulate what's in an offer to purchase because we don't want something that's unconscionable in there. I think the reason people get confused a little bit on the payday loan thing is they think to them it's so obvious that you shouldn't take out a loan for 100 or 150% that why don't we let this be a legal product? But what is obvious to some of us is not obvious to all of us. And it's not difficult, I'm sure, we'll have people later testifying today, to find examples of people who wound up in these 150, 200% jobbies that find it very difficult to get out from under them. And I think the industry knows that very well. I know in the county I used to live, the number one use of small claims court used to be the payday lenders. Eventually, they just let people not pay, and it's part of the cost of doing business. But in any event, I really appreciate you bringing this, allowing us to testify on this bill. Good luck, because I do think sometimes the Americans least able to afford it, lose tremendous amounts of interest. And thank you again for listening.
Thank you, Congressman Grothman.